Hello everybody, my name is Johnny Jetrock, bringing you this bombshell report for Populist News, covering Bernie Sanders and his direct and purposeful violation of Article 6 of the Constitution. In the hearing with Russell Vought, I believe that's how you say it, who is the Trump nominee for the Deputy Director of the White House Office of Management and Budget. Now during this hearing, Senator Sanders and Mr. Vought had a back and forth discussion, or almost what seemed to be a debate, about Mr. Vought's belief and faith in Christianity and what he believes about Muslims. Mr. Sanders was basically conducting a religious test, and in his final statement, you will see why I believe that Mr. Sanders did violate this man's rights. He actually did impose a religious test, and it will become completely apparent to you once you hear this report, okay? I'm going to give you a description to the link that I found. This report is by Mr. David French of the National Review. I'll give you a link to it, and I'll put in a copyright disclaimer because we're only using this information that we found for education and news reporting, okay? So here was the conversation. I'm going to be reading through it. I don't have a teleprompter here, folks. This is all me, all right? So Senator Sanders said to Mr. Vought, "Let me get to the issue that has bothered me and bothered many other people. That's in the piece that you wrote for Resurgent." Mr. Vought wrote a piece for Resurgent. He went to Wheaton College, and we're going to get to this now. The quote-unquote statement he said was, "Muslims do not simply have a deficient theology. They do not know God because they have rejected Jesus Christ, his son, and they stand condemned." "Do you believe that the statement is Islamophobic?" Senator Sanders asked him. Okay, so Vought replied, "Absolutely not, Senator. I'm a Christian. I believe in a Christian set of principles based on my faith. The post that I stated in the questionnaire to this committee was to defend my alma mater, Wheaton College, a Christian school that has a statement of faith that includes a centrality of Jesus Christ for salvation." And right there, Senator Sanders cut him off again. He said, "I apologize. Forgive me, for we do not have a lot of time," Senator Sanders said. "Do you believe that the people in the Muslim religion stand condemned? Is that your view?" he questioned him. Mr. Vought replied, "Again, Senator, I'm a Christian, and I wrote that piece in accordance with the statement of faith at Wheaton College." Senator Sanders replies, "I understand that, and I don't know how many Muslims are in this country, maybe a couple of million. Are you suggesting that all those people stand condemned? What about Jews? Do they stand condemned too?" Mr. Vought replies, "Senator, I'm a Christian." At this point, Senator Sanders cuts him off. He's now shouting in a very loud voice, obviously upset. He said, "I understand you're a Christian, but this country is made up of people who are not just. I understand Christianity is the majority religion, but there are other people of different religions in this country and around the world. In your judgment, do you think that people who are not Christians are going to be condemned?" So Mr. Vought replies to this. He says, "As a Christian, I believe that all individuals are made in the image of God and are worthy of dignity and respect, regardless of religious beliefs. I believe as a Christian that I should treat all individuals this way." Mr. Sanders said, and he asks him, in this statement put in the publication where they rejected Jesus Christ because they are Muslims and stand condemned, "Do you think that that is respectful of other religions?" Senator Sanders asks Mr. Vought in relation to this statement that he put in Resurgent. Mr. Vought replies, "I wrote a post based on my being a Christian and attending a Christian school that has a statement of faith that speaks clearly in regard to the centrality of Jesus in salvation. Mr. Sanders said at this point is where he violates his Article 6 of the Constitution by imposing a religious test. Listen very closely. This is what Senator Sanders says. To the chairman, I would say, Mr. Chairman, that this nominee is really not someone who this country is supposed to be about. So, based on Mr. Vought's statement in an article in The Resurgent about his belief in Jesus Christ and where he stands in faith and where Muslims stand in his view based on his religion, Mr. Sanders is saying that he is not what this country is about and that he is basically not fit for this position because of his religious views. Senator Sanders is not what this country is all about. Senator Sanders openly and blatantly violated Article 6 of the Constitution, imposing religious tests on Mr. Russell Vought. Mr. Sanders is in violation. Mr. Sanders is a disgrace to this country. You know, a lot of Bernie bros are just going to go against what I'm talking about just because I'm red-pilled. But you know what? If you can see through the mist and the fog and see what really happened in this situation, you will see that Bernie Sanders is not who he says he is. Bernie Sanders is a globalist. Bernie Sanders is not for believing in the Constitution. Bernie Sanders does not believe in Americana. Bernie Sanders is against everything that we are all about. If you can't see that, then you're not looking. So I hope you enjoyed this report. Look for the link to the article that I found. Look for the link to my Patreon and PayPal accounts if you want to become a supporter. My name is Johnny Jetrod, reporting for Populist News. Thank you, America.